the CEO of Klarrio, and today I'll be talking a little bit about cloud agnosticity. Cloud agnosticity is something that we've invested a lot in the past, in the sense that there are use cases, there's a lot of use cases where you do not want vendor lock-in based on your cloud provider services. So when that happens, you want to invest in cloud agnosticity. Cloud agnosticity means that I can move around from one cloud to another. And there's different ways and means to actually achieve that. But the first question you should ask yourself when you go down that path is, what is the benefit of being cloud agnostic? Because in reality, there's no such thing as cloud agnosticity. You will always have some hooks into the cloud provider that you use, and you can alleviate them so that you can support multiple cloud providers, but there will be some hooks in place. So it's actually more of a sliding window that you need to be aware of, that where it makes sense, you make use of existing services that are as loosely coupled as possible, and where those services are not loosely coupled and actually mean that you would have a vendor lock-in to the cloud provider, you avoid, and you build something that can actually help you with that. Now, in the old days, like 2 years ago, obviously, we were talking primarily about compute and storage. You were talking about VMs in the cloud. How can I spin up VMs on this provider? How can I spin up VMs on another cloud provider? And that was relatively easy. You would pick an orchestration engine of choice, such as Ansible or Chef or Puppet, and you would make sure that it could actually access the API of the cloud provider, and you would launch those machines and start provisioning them. That time has come and gone a little bit. We're now primarily not only talking about compute and storage anymore, we're also talking about services running on top of the cloud provider, like high available load balancers or DNS services or object storage as such. And there you have to make a choice. Do I want to invest in setting up my own storage cluster? Or I can just use a Swift interface or an S3 interface from the existing cloud provider. In that case, it wouldn't make sense to be cloud agnostic. So you would just choose the object storage of your cloud provider. And you have 2 or 3 cloud providers that you want to support. Then you support those object storages. Now we came into the age of microservices and containers, where we have to make a further abstraction. It actually helps us, and it holds us back a little bit. It helps us in the terms that we can now work on a layered architecture, where you have the sense of infrastructure, and where you can define infrastructure as code using tools such as Terraform, which actually provide a cloud agnostic, almost cloud agnostic layer towards the infrastructure piece that you want to govern. So say a set of VMs that you want to provision. On top of that, you will select your cluster manager of choice, be it a DCS from Mesosphere or Kubernetes, and you build that on top using an orchestration engine again, or you can use a multi-cloud provider image creator such as Packer. On top of that, you would then deploy your common services, again using the orchestration engine of your choice, and you would use it also to build environment-specific services. Remember, you don't want one single environment for your service. You always want to define it in such a way that you can replicate it into other environments where different services and different configurations are applicable, such as the difference between a development and a production environment, or 2 instantiations of the same environment for different purposes. That's a little bit in. You can always find more information on our website, and if you would like, you can always contact us. Thanks.